It's the hottest dish in the streets. It's what everyone's talking about on Facebook.
Twitters and Facebooks and all that stuff.
It's time for Big Tigger's Trending Topics on V103.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Trending Topics is being brought to you by our local search partners at YP. Searches for pharmacies in the ATL area are up 76% on the YP app for iPhone. Let's get to it. This is a Law and Order edition of Trending Topics. Sheesh, a lot going on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Jay-Z is reluctantly addressing the calls for him to cut ties to Barneys after allegations of racial profiling involving the luxury department store. The hip-hop mogul posted a statement on his Life and Times website Saturday saying that he was and still is waiting for all the facts to come out before speaking out on the cases. But he says he felt compelled to say something due to what he called the negligent and erroneous reports and attacks on his character. Hove says he's being demonized. He says making a premature decision to pull out a project with Barneys would not hurt the store or him, but all the people who stand a chance at higher education. He went on to say, quote, he doesn't stand to make a dime off of his line at Barneys, that instead the Sean Carter Foundation, which provides college scholarships to economically challenged students, will get 25% of the sales from the collaboration. This money is going to help individuals facing socioeconomic hardships to further their education at institutions of higher learning. My idea was born out of creativity and charity, not profit. He went on to say, I am against discrimination in any kind, but if I make snap judgments, no matter who it's towards, aren't I committing the same sin as someone who profiles? Well put, Hove. The Reverend Al Sharpton seems to be demanding a boycott of Barneys, but not Jay-Z, after these allegations. He said after hearing Trayvon Christian's story, Kayla Phillips charged that she had a similar experience when purchasing a $2,500 bag. He spoke at his National Action Network. He urged African Americans to avoid Barneys unless the store issues a suitable response. Let's move on to the next story in our Law and Order edition of the Trending Topics. It's time for Chris Brown to talk to the judge. He was arrested Sunday morning for felony assault. And the alleged victim, is now telling their side of the story. The alleged victim explains that he and a friend were standing outside the W Hotel in D.C. when they spotted Chris Brown taking a picture with two women. He claims Brown became upset after the two dudes photobombed the woman's picture. Brown reportedly hurled a homophobic slur at the man and then allegedly punched him in the face. Meanwhile, Chris Brown's camp is telling a much different tale. They saying the celebrity gossip site TMZ that the alleged victim was trying to get on Chris's tour bus and that Chris was just simply trying to stop the man from trespassing. As of right now, Chris is still in custody. Matter of fact, he's about to hit the courtroom. We have my man, your man, Guy Lambert, news director from our sister station WPGC in D.C. with an update right now. Guy, what's happening?
Here live at the D.C. Superior Courthouse, where just minutes ago, Chris Brown entered into the courtroom. Let me tell you, this place is pure pandemonium down here. Among those in attendance, Chris Brown's mom, his brother, Trey Songz is here. You had to have seen it. Just minutes ago, Trey Songz got into a shouting match with one of the U.S. Marshals. Apparently, the courtroom's full beyond capacity. It seats about 300 people. Trey Songz wasn't allowed in, along with 6 other family members of Chris Brown. That shouting match continued for about a minute or so. The judge now said to be moving that case to a bigger courtroom. Perhaps the real interesting point that everybody's talking about is that the initial police report said it was the bodyguard that threw the first punch, breaking the victim's nose.
Right.
They then went back and changed that police report, saying it was Chris Brown who threw the first punch, breaking the victim's nose. Of course, Chris Brown's lawyer going to have a field day with that. He sits in the courtroom right now. The case is yet to get underway, but we're awaiting it at any second, Ted.
I appreciate you giving me the update, Guy. Now, will this void his probation?
Oh, this is a big deal in regard to his probation. Of course, you're talking about the whole Rihanna incident.
Right.
Now, what happens is if he is found guilty of violating any D.C. law, so whether or not he's the first person, second person, or third person to throw a punch, if he's found guilty, that's a violation of his probation, which means he could be sentenced to 4 years in the slammer. Picture that. Chris Brown in jail for 4 years if he's found guilty of this charge.
That is crazy. Guy Lambert, I appreciate you giving me the 411 from D.C. Thank you, sir.
We'll keep a close eye on it for you, Ted.
One last tidbit. The alleged victim told TMZ he didn't understand why Brown was so homophobic And he said he would have accepted an apology at the scene, but now he will absolutely press charges, and he's already hired a lawyer. Thank you for tuning in to the Trending Topics, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed any of this conversation, head on over to v-103.com, where you can not only listen to it in its entirety, you can see my perplexed Law and Order face. Yeah. Y'all stay tuned in. I got 3 things you need to know next right here on V103.